Hi Stamping Friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Today I'm sharing with you the project number 2 for what we made for in my clubs in September, and also what would be one of the free card kits. Now it's actually not a card this time. We're doing a 3D item. We filled a little cello bag with some candy and then made a really cute little tag, and just a couple different versions, so I'm going to show you how to do that. The stamp set that we're using is the Seasonal Chums stamp set and the Seasonal Tags framelits. And I have had so much fun with these. This is the full set. I have made this cute little box with some candy corn in it, decorated with the designer paper. And here's another one of these little cute boxes. This is the reindeer in that set, stamped and watercolored, and has peppermint patties in there. And then I've also decorated a whole bunch of the, what are they called? Mini pizza boxes, which are so incredibly stinking cute and adorable. I can't even stand it. I've made a whole bunch of them, and we'll be sharing them soon. So to start with, you'll need the 4 punches you see in front of you, some candy, and the 2 by 8 inch cello bags that come in a pack of 50. They're a great value, and 2 of my favorite candies are the Fruit Slices and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, but you can also use candy corns as well. For this project, we used the Spooky Nights Designer Series paper, and I cut a strip of the paper as you see here, so it would be easy for people to be able to access the cats, and they obviously got to choose which color cat they wanted, or you could use regular old cardstock and draw a face on. You also could turn the designer paper over, and you can see this cute little pattern that was on the back. When my club members made this project, I gave them a variety of cardstock and ribbon, and I let them sort of design their own tag. What you see here is my very first tag. As you can see, I punched out my cat and drew on the eyes. And I've turned the tag over here so you can see that I did color the back side, which is a fun option. On this next version, I stamped on Cajun Craze cardstock instead and used a black cat from the designer paper pack. And on this one, I colored the pumpkin in Cajun Craze ink on watercolor paper and used the pumpkin pie cat. And the little tag is tucked under the cat in this second photo. You can see that. For those of you getting this kit in the mail, I did die cut 2 pumpkins for you, either in the watercolor paper, Cajun Craze, or pumpkin pie, or some combination. I did not stamp the images for you because that's against Stampin' Up! Policy. For this next segment, I'm going to do watercoloring, and I'm speeding it up just to make it go a little faster. The first step is to wet the watercolor paper. You want it to start wet, otherwise the ink gets sort of stuck in certain spots. And I'm picking up my pumpkin pie ink and highlighting sort of the spots that should be the darkest, because the ink's going to be the darkest on my aqua painter when I first pick up the ink. And then I'm just filling in the gaps to kind of get some shading that I like. And you can see I'm going with some dark lines right near where the lines are on the actual pumpkin, how it's drawn. And dabbing off my ink a little bit to control how dark the color is when I want it to be lighter. It is sitting on a paper towel, so I can do that very easily. And now I'm going in and highlighting with some darker color around the mouth and the eyes and the nose. This gives it some nice shading and dimension and depth. So now I'm going in and coloring my green leaves, but the first time around it was a little bit too dark, so you can see I dabbed it off with the paper towel. So on my palette you might be able to notice that I have pieces of cardstock underneath each droplet of ink, and they tell me what color I'm supposed to be using, which can come in handy because it's hard to tell sometimes which color is which. So last but not least, I'm going in for my crumb cake and just going to color that stem. So now I'm just putting some final touches on the watercoloring, adding my some more shading in the pumpkin's face, and I added in the crumb cake stem, and now I'm applying a little bit of Wink of Stella to the eyes, nose, and mouth. Okay, so on to the assembly. So what I've done here is got some pieces that are partly prepared, and I put dimensionals on the back side of my Starburst circle, and that's just going to get attached on there. I have this one already attached. And then I took a little strip and used my banner punch to notch out the ends and attached the little strip with a couple of glue dots right at the end. And then I got my cat here, and I have a couple dimensionals on the back side. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove those. Before I do that, I want to point out to you that I took my pumpkin beforehand. I don't know if you can see it, but I made a little mark where I wanted to attach the pumpkin so that it would be just in the right spot to nest under the cat. So I'm going to go ahead and attach I'm going to hold that there so I have an idea of what I'm doing. And then I'm going to attach my cat, making sure that I don't put the dimensional on top of the pumpkin and tack the pumpkin down by accident. Okay, so next step, I'm going to take my 1/8 inch hole punch and just punch a hole where I have marked it with my pencil. And I'm going to take a piece of baker's twine. So I'm just threading that baker's twine through the hole in the pumpkin, tying a knot and a double knot. And then I'm going to actually thread it through the hole on the circle piece and tie a knot again so that it's nice and secure. And in this way I can actually turn the tag over if I want, but it's secure and in place. And then I'm going to tie a knot, as you can see, at the end, and I just want to make sure that that opening is big enough so that I'll be able to wrap it around. You'll see me doing that now. So I'm just threading it through and just kind of holding it on there. I can adjust the size by pulling the piece of baker's twine down. And then I'm just putting a couple of dimensionals on the back side of the tag to tack it down to the front. For the final step, you're going to take your vintage crochet trim and either tie an air bow like you see me doing here and attach it to the front with a glue dot, or you can just tie it around and tie a bow. And you're all done. Thanks so much for joining me today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Happy crafting and have a great day.